11 o'clock, the Thursday edition of Three Man Front. Landrum Roberts, Molly Robinson, Damian Mitchell filling in. Maybe he's filling out. He gets married. He's going to put on some LBs. I got news for D. Hanging out. Pat Smith's going to be back with us tomorrow talking a lot about Sharon Moore at Michigan. Any details that develop. In case you missed it, it was reported about an hour ago that he's going to be arraigned this afternoon. So Sharon Moore not only being terminated yesterday for cause by the University of Michigan as their head football coach, but also facing possible legal ramifications. So as the details come out, we will certainly pass them along. But it is time for our friend Rodney Orr of Tighter Insider. A lot to talk about with Rodney. Rodney, how are you?
I'm doing well, Landrum. How are you?
I'm doing okay. The scandals at Michigan continue, unfortunately, for the maize and blue. I will ask you, not that we're going to go in depth on it, but Kalen DeBoer, his name immediately mentioned. We saw his name linked towards possibly Penn State. He came out. He shot that down in the press conference the week of the SEC championship game. But I guess it's good if you've got a coach that is considered elite, that is wanted by the likes of Michigan and others.
Yeah, well, you could go back to when DeBoer was at Washington in 2023, and there was speculation even before the championship game, well before the championship game, that Jim Harbaugh would probably be in his last year there, potentially, and that DeBoer was their leading candidate back then. At least, again, the speculation was. And then the Alabama job opened before the Michigan job did, as I recall, and Alabama got the first shot, and he ended up in Tuscaloosa. So the fact that his name is being linked as a potential replacement, and certainly very highly as a potential replacement, does not surprise me.
Did it surprise you of the participation report or how many Alabama players heading into Saturday's championship game versus Georgia were not available?
No, I knew they were like a really beat up football team. And I think, we were hearing behind the scenes a lot that how several players would be banged up, likely miss the game. And that, the feeling was inside that, that they felt like they would be a different football team. DeBoer has since come out and said that, after the game. He said, we'll be a different football team when we get our guys back, come two weeks when the playoffs start. So it was pretty well known that this was a team that they felt like was banged up going in.
This is a tough question because, a lot of times just the natural healing process, and it's day to day. We all know that with some of these programs and finding out if a guy's ready to go. But how many of those guys that were in question or not available on Saturday do you expect to be at least out there and not 50, 60% when they face off against Oklahoma?
Yeah. Good question. And I would say this is that with the continued message that's been put out there by Kalen DeBoer is we're going to be a different football team come 2 weeks when of course now it's not 2 weeks. What is it, 8 days? But that's kind of been what he's put out there multiple times, is that they're going to be a different football team, which, certainly implies that they feel like that most of those guys, if not all of them, maybe, again, I don't want to include LT Overton in there because I'm not really sure what his status might be, but it does sound like Josh Cuevas, Jam Miller, and some of the other guys, maybe Cam Dewberry and some of the others that were a little bit banged up, will be ready to go in this game.
The immediate reaction when the college football playoff field was announced and Alabama was going to be facing Oklahoma for a second time this season, from the Alabama fans that I talked to, they said, well, you know what? Probably the most favorable matchup we could have looked at, aside from Tulane or James Madison, obviously. I'm guessing that was some of the reaction that you got from the message boards and your subscribers there at Tighter Insider.
Yeah, I think so. Again, you look at a team that was here just back on November the 15th, and you say, well, that Alabama should have won the game. I mean, they were the better team. They appeared to be the better team that day. They just kind of beat themselves with turnovers and all of those different things. But that's kind of it looks to me, Landrum, as I've kind of followed Oklahoma a little bit from a distance, that they've changed a little bit. They've kind of taken the game out of Mateer's hands some because of the turnovers that they were having, and they've gone more to relying on their defense, special teams, and just not making mistakes, finding ways to win games, play clean football. And, against Alabama in that game. Obviously, Alabama turned the ball over numerous times, missed a chip shot field goal. They lost by 2 points. Kind of in this game against Georgia, gave them a bunch of short fields. And look, Georgia dominated the game. Let me just be clear about that. I'm certainly not making any excuses, but Alabama didn't help themselves. I thought it was a very poor performance when you talk about offense and special teams, and I thought the defense played okay, or pretty well. But I think talking about this Oklahoma matchup, that's number one. You got to go out there. It's going to be a real challenge in that environment to compete. We don't know what the weather conditions are. At least I'm not sure what they're going to be, but they could certainly be challenging. It's going to be a real difficult road because I'm telling you, this Alabama offense. I mean, it's been out of sorts a little bit. You thought it was kind of coming back into rhythm, maybe against Oklahoma when they put up 406 yards against a pretty good defense, and then they just haven't really seemed to be consistent. Not against Auburn, certainly not against Georgia. They were way out of sorts, and I think going on the road at Oklahoma, that's going to be to me, that'll be a real challenge for that offense.
How much will getting healthier, Rodney, improve that offense? I realize some, but in your eyes, is that a big part of it? Not having Jam Miller in pass protection at times. There's a combination with the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
What can Alabama fix between now and next Friday?
It's a good question. All those guys that you mentioned, they played against Oklahoma the first time. So I'm not really sure exactly, how what's going to be better than make it markedly better in this game from this Georgia game till now, the way they've been playing at the end of the year till this game coming up. So I don't really know what they can do that would make them show market improvement. But one thing they have to do is they certainly have to protect the football. I mean, they can't make mistakes. I mean, obviously they turned the ball over once against in this Georgia game, but they also had a blocked punt that set up a touchdown. So I think one thing is just ball security, not making mistakes on special teams is certainly going to be key as well. But I don't see the run game. I mean, I just don't see that how you're going to make that much improvement over the course of this time, and the guys that you have coming back are going to make that much of a difference in what you do. So I just think it's going to have to be Ty Simpson's going to have to be consistent. He's going to have to play with confidence, and I think you're going to have to get those receivers involved and then try to run it when you can. But also, like I said, the key to me is you've got to really protect the football.
Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, joining us on Three Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. For Kalen DeBoer, not that he's on the hot seat, anything like that, Rodney, but how important is it for him to win at least one game in the college football playoff?
Well, again, I think it's probably really important because partly because of who they're playing again. I mean, this is like obviously the second time in less than a month, or right around a month, that they would be playing. And I think most people felt like Alabama was, again, the better team in the first game. They kind of gave it away. And then you go back to even last year, this would be like the third time in 13 months that they've played, and you lose to Oklahoma again. I mean, I just among the fans, I'm certainly not referring to anyone inside the building, but among the fans, I mean, I know what the reaction would be. And again, I think Landrum, one thing that maybe is kind of surprising is that the response after the SEC championship game isn't what it normally would have been for that kind of performance to me. Because the fans have moved on now that you're in a playoff game. You got the playoffs. Okay, so that's really behind, and the fans have kind of put that out of their minds. But if you lose this game at Oklahoma, all of a sudden that championship game is going to start coming up too. So I think it's important that you go to Oklahoma and you got to find a way to win that game and kind of get back on that positive note. Then you have a great opportunity if you do that. You go to the Rose Bowl and you play Indiana, the number one team. So that would be something that I think would certainly rally the fans, so to speak.
I do want to go recruiting with you because I got to watch him for the first time and put my own eyes on him in Protective Stadium. But Jackson running back, Xavier Crowell, oh my goodness. You've covered a lot of guys in the high school ranks here in the state of Alabama and just across the country. And your time there in Tuscaloosa, Rodney, he's special. Is there another running back, recent memory, that you could compare Xavier Crowell to?
Oh man, that's a good question. As far as comparison, all I've seen is like him on TV and on tape. Sometimes when I see them in person, I get a better idea of a comparison. But I would say this, he looks big, strong, fast, runs with power, got really good feet instincts. I mean, you just look at him and he looks to be the complete package. He looks like somebody that like, can you enroll him now, and get him here because he could make an impact right away. I mean, no, I think he's a fantastic talent. I mean, um, and look, you can look at the other schools that recruited him too. I mean, when Sark recruits a running back, they know what they're looking at. Not that Alabama doesn't. I'm just saying when you look at, it's kind of I think what you're saying is it's a consensus with everyone. This guy is he's a major talent. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you know it when you see it, and you see this guy. And I had seen him on TV, and I'd seen some cut ups of him riding. But when I saw him in person, I said, "Yeah, that's the real deal." In fact, the joke there at Protective Stadium amongst a lot of people and some of them that cover Alabama was he could suit up tomorrow and be effective against at the time the Georgia Bulldogs, but he could probably be effective against Oklahoma as well. So that's good news for Alabama as far as the running game. And I'm guessing that the offensive line will be a point of emphasis in the portal coming up.
I think so, definitely. I think, again, there's probably some needs there that you could fill. I think maybe a center. Again, I don't know what Parker Brailsford's going to do in terms of coming back, uh, and maybe even another guard. And certainly, I think that to me, if you could find an experienced tackle, that would certainly be of interest. I think on the defensive line, you would want to find some guys there too, especially on the interior. I think you know, Alabama, especially with Tim Keenan leaving, you need somebody that's potentially a bell cow in the middle. And I know they've got some guys, London Simmons, Jeremiah Beeman's going to be healthy next year. And so they feel good about some of the other younger players that they can develop. But I think if you could get an established interior defensive lineman or two, and they're hard to come by because they're really expensive now. But if you could get one of those guys, I think that would be really valuable as well. And I know this sounds maybe what we talked about Crowell, but you're going to lose Jam, and I know Deere. He certainly has a lot of potential. Um, and Riley might be back, you would think. Daniel Hill, but would you want an experienced running back? Because you don't know exactly how a Crowell will come in terms of learning the entire offense. How long will it take him to adjust and do the things that he has to do without the ball? So, I mean, I don't know if that would be a consideration or not. Maybe a receiver. I think they've done extraordinarily well in the secondary and recruiting, so I'm not sure that would be a concern. But inside linebacker, that would be another one because you're going to lose Justin Jefferson, Nakai Hill Green, obviously Deontay. So you did recruit some guys there, but how about an experienced guy, bringing one in at that spot? That may be a possibility.
He is Rodney Orr. You can find his work there at TighterInsider.com, at TighterInsider there on Twitter. Rodney, always a great visit. Thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you next week. There'll be plenty to talk about. It'll be game week.
Appreciate it, Landrum.
Thank you. Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. Unpack some of what Rodney just told us as we continue on Three Man Front.
11:18 here at Three-Man Front, and Landrum and Damien are busy putting up some Christmas lights in the studio.
We're decorating in here.
It looks really good. Well, in the
Thanks.
meantime, let me tell you about Train, because you don't want to get caught in the cold this holiday season. So schedule your system checkup now from a trained comfort specialist. Train has been recognized for 11 consecutive years as America's most trusted HVAC brand and our exclusive home comfort partners here at Jock. So go and visit train.com to find a comfort specialist near you. It looks really good.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, you know.
Very festive.
Those doggone decorations, man.
We just
I love it.
I went more with you.
There was no
we'll
rhyme or
work.
reason.
We'll work on yours.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
fine. We had about 2.5 minutes to throw the lights up.
Yeah.
That have been
I
back
was
in our
watching you
office.
guys hustle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We set the scene for Christmas. Merry Christmas,
That's
y'all.
right.
Merry
Rodney
Christmas.
Orr, Tighter Insider, just joined us. His weekly spot talking about Alabama. Of course, we'll go in depth with part 2 of Alabama and Oklahoma coming up next week as they'll get things started in the college football playoff. But the injury bug continues to be a concern. How many of these guys will be back? Kalen DeBoer, as Rodney told us, reminding everyone that this will be a different-looking football team. But I think for the purposes of the running game, I think Rodney said it. It is what it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Your running game.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the strength of your team. Now, you're going to need more than -3.
Yeah. Gonna leave.
That
a lot
goes
more.
without saying.
Yeah.
But through the air has been where Alabama has. That's been their strength.
Yeah.
And when they had it rolling and Ty had it rolling, they're in, well, really after the Florida State game and then up to what game would you say, where it started to fall off a little bit? After Tennessee?
Yeah. Right about LSU.
Mm-hmm.
That's about when it started being. You started to see the inconsistencies. But I think the biggest thing is because Alabama ended up being a little bit one-dimensional, up until that point, Ty Simpson had been pretty consistent. But then when defenses were able to pin their ears back and realize, they're not going to be able to run the football on us, that's where you kind of saw a little bit of a change. And, whether that's, Ty Simpson getting a little bit of the case of the yips, or just situationally he wasn't able to put the ball where it needed to be on a consistent basis. You need some help. Like, you're going to need some help as far as some sort of identity in the run game, because Oklahoma is a great defense. But the thing is, you were able to move the ball somewhat in the matchup, and if you didn't have a lot of those turnovers, there's no telling how that game could have gone the first time. But especially now with what's at stake, you've got to be clicking on pretty much as close to all cylinders as possible, but it's easier said than done because of the quality of defense that you're going to be facing against Oklahoma.
Good point. By the way, the weather in Norman is expected, just looked at the 10-day, and it's expected to be fine.
Okay.
Looks good.
Good.
It's going to be sunny.
Dang it. I was hoping for snow.
And it's going to be on the warmer side. We get the warming trend that's coming in. We got the
Okay.
polar vortex. It's up in the northeast. There's going to be hitting,
About to hit.
somewhere around there. But yeah, I think right now weather looks good.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be crazy or anything for Alabama. That's good.
Yeah.
It'll be tough enough.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need any more of the elements to help out. But again, just on the field in the situation where Alabama is, you're kind of hoping for something to click.
Michigan fires head coach Sharon Moore. Big story late yesterday in the early evening hours, and that conversation has continued. Scheduled to be arraigned this afternoon up in the state of Michigan. Molly, there are some candidates that have been put out there. Kalen DeBoer, his name was immediately thrown out by a lot of folks yesterday, and that's continued today as well. But there is a list of candidates that Michigan should avoid.
Yeah, so like you said, we love lists on the show. And when I was looking at coaching hot boards, I found an article that's, like Landrum said, the 4 coaches that Michigan should avoid at all cost. The number 1 name on this list at the tippy top is Brian Kelly.
Huh.
The reasoning: the former Notre Dame and LSU head coach is a proven winner, but he always seems to wear out his welcome rather quickly and has been accused of mistreating his players on multiple occasions. Kelly isn't a coach Michigan should even consider, especially in the aftermath of such an unseemly departure from Moore. The Wolverines need to target a forward-thinking and innovative head coach that is highly respected both on and off the field, and Kelly just doesn't fit the bill.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I mean, he's got a pass there, but I can think of a lot worse.
See, I can too.
Yeah.
That one kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
The second name on this list is John Gruden. The reason.
Okay.
Michigan booster and Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy suggested the Wolverines should target former NFL head coach John Gruden, who, for the record, is a current contributor at Barstool. Gruden previously expressed interest in coaching at Michigan years ago, but he hasn't coached in the NFL since 2021. Of course, we know what happened there. And he also hasn't coached at the college level in nearly 3 decades. For the situation Michigan is in right now, this would be an extremely bad hire.
I agree. I just don't think that would work at all. And
I'd be surprised.
yeah, just with everything that's been going on in Michigan, it just doesn't strike me as a public perception kind of thing.
If it gets down to John Gruden in that search,
You're in bad shape.
Yeah.
You're in bad shape.
there's a bigger story there.
Yeah.
Now, this is a name I haven't really seen that much, so it kind of surprised me a little bit. But the third name on this list is David Shaw. Shaw is the former Stanford head coach and current Lions
Hadn't
passing
said
game
his name in a couple of years. Go
No,
ahead.
exactly. Current Lions passing game coordinator from the Jim Harbaugh coaching tree. Shaw had plenty of success at Stanford. 2 Rose Bowls in 8 seasons, 82 and 26, before really struggling in his final 4 years and eventually getting fired in 2022. He is definitely a solid coach, but he is the furthest thing from a home run hire, which is exactly what the Wolverines need to be shooting for. I haven't seen his name at all.
NIL era, I don't want somebody who's been out of it for a while.
No.
Right. Yeah. Doesn't really seem like a good fit either.
Better than Gruden, but no.
Yeah.
The fourth and final name on this list, Biff Poggi.
Please let it happen.
The reasoning, don't get me wrong. I love Biff just as much as the next guy. The current Michigan interim head coach is beloved by players and coaches, and him taking over the job for now will provide some much-needed stability in a time of chaos. But he isn't the long-term answer. Poggi stepped in as the head coach during Moore's 2-game suspension this season, but he didn't seem to have much desire to be in a head coach position again, so hiring would be likely the last-ditch effort to try to hang on to current coaches, players, and recruits.
It's interesting that they describe Biff Poggi that way. I've never met the man.
I haven't either.
So I don't know. It's just interesting you hear that. Coaches, players, they love him.
Right.
Go talk to the people that I talked to last year at Charlotte after he had been fired. Different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
But I want to see Biff Poggi as a permanent head coach there.
Yeah. It'll be
Sleeveless.
Yeah, it'd be different. It'd be different. But it gives me Brady Hoke vibes. Where it's
Why? Because he's
he's a bigger guy.
a heftier fella?
Yeah. But it just kind of
Okay.
It just doesn't fit. Like it just
I forgot about Brady Hoke.
Oh yeah.
I did too.
Oh yeah. I remember. He ain't wearing no headset. He was just I was like, in this modern era, you just sitting out there and you just,
don't
raw
hear
dogging it.
It's all right here.
Yeah, like you just
Got it all right here.
eyeballing this game.
No,
Like,
no.
what's going on?
I don't care what you're seeing up there in the box.
Right. Like no communication.
Got
anywhere?
the all 22 right here.
that kind of feels like that hire.
That's the first red flag these days.
Yeah. In this day and age, you need to have eyes and ears on everything.
Now, back in the day, I understood if Bobby Bowden was on the sideline,
Yeah.
you know,
Bring me a play over here. We're running deuce right 34. Get out there. In this
these
day and
days,
age.
yeah, you're not wearing a headset. Red flag.
Yeah. Nah, it ain't. I'll tell you who would go there and clean house and get everybody right. Since we're talking about, heftier fellas, get Sam Pittman up there. They'll be blue collars. They will be.
I don't want Sam to go up there. I don't want him exposed to that culture.
He'll get him out of there quickly.
Yeah, probably so. Other coaching news, Alex Golesh, he's continuing to fill out his staff. Larry Porter, West Virginia this past year. He served on Auburn's staff in 2017 to 2020. He is expected to be joining Golesh's staff in that capacity. Also seeing Cam Martin, who played at Auburn Florida State. That was a name that he was linked to this past year. He's running backs coach at Tulsa.
Okay.
But Cam Martin is expected to be joining Alex Golish's staff. And Tim Banks, fired defensive coordinator from Tennessee, reported, I believe, by Justin Hokanson earlier that he's going to be joining DJ Durkin at Auburn on the defensive side of the ball, coaching safeties.
That's good, man. I remember Cam Martin because we were in college at the same time, and I just remember I always felt that he was a little bit of a scat back, but didn't mind getting physical when he needed to. I remember his playing days. I didn't know he was in coaching, man. I think that'd be a good fit.
Kind of viewed him as an Ontario McCaleb.
Yeah, just a little bit more
in
physical.
Malzahn's offense.
Yeah, but he didn't mind if he had to run power, counter, hit it in between the tackles. He was good because if he broke out, he was gone. He was absolutely gone. I remember him and Eli Stove. Just their dynamic, because when I was a receiver, I used to watch Eli Stove, and it's just like, man, if he was anywhere else, I think he'd be a little bit better as a receiver. And he was also short, so it was easy to kind of
gravitated to him.
I did. I was like, man, I like the way they're using him in that offense, but if he ever wants to be a polished receiver, he should go somewhere else.
We'll get to a bevy of texts that you've texted in on the Jocks text line. Also, SEC postseason awards handed out. Some hardware going to some familiar names. We'll get to it. The Thursday edition of Three Man Front rolls on. 11:34. If you're watching on Jocks TV right now, studio is decorated.
It's a different feel.
2 breaks. We got the lights, the warm colored Christmas lights. Feels different. We turned off the lights in here. It looks good.
It does.
It looks so good.
Put you in the Christmas spirit, man. It really does.
Yeah. Check out Jocks TV. You can find it there at YouTube. Just search Jocks TV 945, and you can watch not only our show, Mac and Cube, Morning Jocks, Damian and Conrad, all of our content there available. Sharon Moore, that's a big story. Michigan head football coach, formerly head football coach, fired yesterday, arrested yesterday, going to be arraigned later on today, and is suspect in, they're saying assault. We'll wait to see the details. Got to be responsible in our reporting, but Sharon Moore, it does not look good right now for the former Michigan head football coach, fired at the age of 39, continuing the scandal that has been Michigan football for the past several years.
Yeah.
Even with that national championship.
What did it cost?
Overshadowed by sign stealing scandal,
Yeah.
personnel issues, and now this. A lot of your texts rolling in on the text line, 205-834-9450. And let's see, Joe from Fayette says probably not a popular option, but if or when DeBoer is gone or out at Alabama, like to see Dan Mullen after the year he's had at UNLV. Ooh.
No.
Joe, love you. Thanks for texting. Thanks for listening.
That ain't it. Nah. No. Just,
I think I'd like to roll the dice on Tommy Reese before I want to see Dan Mullen on that sideline.
No.
Let's talk about Gruden again.
No, Dan. I think he's go okay. He's gonna be okay.
Who's the better quarterback, Gunnar Stockton or Ty Simpson?
With the way that he's playing right now, I have to give it to Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
And really and truly, I think the Tennessee game, looking back on it, was probably his calling card of, okay, I can really do this. Because he's kind of been the reason why they've been having so much success. He doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't put it in harm's way. He's just a gamer. He really is. He's got just that, no pun intended, he got that dog in him.
Sent from the Jocks app. Hope all is well. I absolutely love the show. Quick question for y'all. On a scale of 0 to 100%, what are the odds of Deuce Knight, Cam Coleman, and Ryan Williams entering the portal? That's Matt from Fayette.
I'd say 1%.
Love you too, Matt.
I'd say 1%.
Yeah.
All 3 of those guys.
Yes.
Like there's a chance. I'll just give it, the whole human 1%, but I don't think it's happening. I love Deuce Knight in this system with Alex Golesh.
What about Eric Singleton?
Depending on how they use him, I look at it from the Tennessee 2022 season.
I did hear from you, and before you finish, I did hear yesterday that they think Singleton will be back.
Yeah. Look at what Jalen Hyatt was able to do when Alex Golesh was his offensive coordinator, because nobody looked at him as one of the quote-unquote best receivers. He ended up winning the Bolitnikoff.
Well, he had a breakout that week versus Alabama at Neyland.
You can do some damage at his size in the slot with Alex Golesh as your play caller, as your play designer, I guess you'd say. I would, if I'm a receiver at Auburn right now, I know Horatio Fields and Perry Thompson have both hit the portal, but I would look key at that position of just the depth of seeing where it could go. Joe
from Fayette, who recommended Dan Mullen. Someone texted in, someone take Joe's phone away forever. Almost drove off the interstate. Don't do that.
Doesn't seem ideal.
Hey, he was throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Didn't expect to see Dan Mullen's name
No.
associated potentially for whenever the day comes that Kalen DeBoer is not at Alabama.
No, we just wouldn't have pictured that one.
This one says, bite your tongue, Molly. No snow. There's no snow.
No snow. Not at 60 degrees.
Looks like it's going to be sunny. Moderate temperatures there in Norman next Friday.
Feel good, play good.
That's right. Joseph recommending that firing the O-line coach could help with Alabama.
Maybe so.
I'm seeing that there's a possibility you can see some movement in that area when it's all said and done. This one reads, Bama needs to find the 3 best offensive linemen in the portal, pay them whatever it takes. This offense would explode with a great offensive line. That's where it all starts.
It's the foundation, man. It's the foundation.
Officially, this is from one of our listeners. Next Friday in Norman, Oklahoma, sunny with a high of 64 and a low of 43.
Hey. It's good playing weather right there.
That's what it's going to be here on Christmas, and I don't like it.
True. You might throw some on the grill.
I don't need it to be, because I understand kids want to get outside and play. I want bitterly cold where we're talking about losing digits.
Right, but chilly.
Yeah, I want it cold.
Below 60.
Go to 70 the next day.
Yeah.
Just Christmas Day, I want it cold.
I'm with you.
Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
I'm with you. It sets the tone.
It does.
It sets the tone. I think there was one year I think we did put something on the grill on Christmas. It was like 74 degrees. I was like, wait a minute. It's hard to say. Let it snow.
Out there in a bathing suit, roasting chestnuts.
Right. I'm out here sweating. Nah. Give me some cold weather for Crummel.
Back to Sharon Moore, Michigan firing him. This one reads, I can't imagine they wanted this to come to light if they could have got out clean without tarnishing the school's reputation. Yeah, it's a continued bad look for the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
Burr. Great hearing the former morning dynamic duo back together again on the air.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Aunt.
Hey, man. No problem, nephew. In case you missed it, the breaking news earlier that Troy and Auburn are going to play.
It's going to be fun.
2031.
Oh, 2031. You know how old I'll be at that time?
36.
35.
Okay, I was guessing.
35.
Somebody reminds us Troy has beaten LSU, Mississippi State, Missouri, Oklahoma State, and Nebraska.
Hey, don't sleep on them.
Nebraska.
Don't sleep on them. Like you said, there's no telling what it could look like in 2031. That's gonna be interesting.
Dabo to Michigan. I tell you what, if there's a culture problem, you want a 180 on your culture?
Put him
That's
in there.
the guy. That's him.
Who's our game? They call it the game? Ohio? Yeah, Ryan Day and Dabo Swinney in a battle. The team up north. The team up north with Dabo. I think he's a great coach, but no. I love Ryan Day, but it's going to be a bad day when we come down there and beat up on Ohio. I mean, dadgum, look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. Look at my resume. You ain't going to have to worry about, was it Tyler from Spartanburg?
Yeah.
Nah, you got to worry about, Annie Mae from Ann Arbor. Sally from Saline or Deborah from Detroit. I'm telling you, it would be hilarious. It really would.
Well, you talk like that the rest of the day.
I can try.
Please.
I can try.
We're loving it.
Which one? That one or Ryan Day?
No, I want the other one.
You want Dabo Swinney?
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
All right. Keep it rolling.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Quickly, let's go to Rick. We do have Rob Pate coming up. Hey, Rick, how are you?
Hey, guys. Love the show as always. Best on the radio.
Thank you.
But just for everybody that hollers, fire Kalen DeBoer the minute a game is lost. Give me, in your honest opinion, y'all know more football than most of us callers are ever know. Who would be his immediate replacement that would come in and win 10 games in a season, 9 games in a season? Name that replacement on who would do that.
Well, if you're talking about if I was going to pick a name, not saying that he would leave where he is, but Dan Lanning is a name that Dan Lanning would be a name I would think about immediately.
Agree 100%, but it has to be everybody I know, I'm an Alabama fan, have been my whole life. Do I think the man needs to be fired? No. Dan Lanning would be probably one of the only ones that you could say, if he would leave, 100% bring him in. But who, realistically, you can't bring anybody in to replace him that's going to go straight in and win.
Yeah, there's no guarantee.
That's one I wanted you guys' opinion that, hey, this is the guy that would leave their school now to come to Alabama and win 10 games a season or more. And that was it, guys. I appreciate it.
That is one that we will marinate on. Thank you, Rick, as we continue. Rob Pate's going to join us next on Three Man Front. $11:48, three-man fronts. Here on this Thursday, Rob Pate, former Auburn defensive back, pillar of the community there in Lee County. Also, he's a eye doctor, also entrepreneur. I can't say it. That's fine. Rob, how are you?
What's up, man? I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing well. We're talking a lot about the scandal going on in the state of Michigan with Sharon Moore and Michigan and that program. Not going to ask you about that, but did get some news. Alex Golesh continuing to round out his staff and seeing that Tim Banks, former Tennessee defensive coordinator, going to be added there at safeties. You got Cam Martin, former Auburn player, coming back to serve in some capacity. Also, Larry Porter. You get some of these names and filling out this staff. It's pretty evident that Alex Golesh gets it as far as recruiting. What do you make of the early additions and what he's put in that building?
I think he's done a fantastic job of surrounding himself with people that know the league, that have had high level of success and on the recruiting trail. And he's not afraid to go get several guys that have been coordinators in this league and stacked them together in a defensive staff room, and I think that's great. I mean, it's he said that he wanted to assemble an elite staff, and I think he's well on his way to getting that done. I think that they're pretty close to having a complete staff at this point, and it's been impressive. He has done about as good of a job initially as I can remember a coach. And we've gotten a lot of coaches that have come in over the last several years and had a chance to do this, and he's been impressive with the way that he's gone about it.
If you think about it in some of those recent hires, but here in just the early stages of Alex Golish's tenure at Auburn, Rob, what have you noticed? What has been strikingly different about the way that he has, I guess, operated, conducted business here in the first couple of weeks?
I think that it feels like it's he's not trying to placate anyone, or he's not having staff members kind of thrown on him or told you got to keep someone. Although I do think that was a thing with DJ Durkin, and some of that was because of continuity and just trying to keep some of those guys in house. But I think that almost any coach would want to keep DJ Durkin when they come into a situation, wherever they land, because of the quality of person he is and the type of defense and production that he gets. So I think that one was a layup for him. But everywhere else, I mean, he just you can tell that he has a plan. He knows what he wants us to look like, and he's going to go out and implement it. And he's done it quickly and done a really good job of piecing those things together. And I think that's probably the biggest unique thing about what we've seen with him.
When you look at roster retention, it all starts with quarterback. What does the future look like there? Deuce Knight, that's the name that everybody keeps gravitating to. Is Auburn able to hang on to him? What are you hearing, and where do you think he eventually goes with that room?
I think that Auburn will do as much as they can to keep Deuce Knight, and I do think that obviously they'll be looking in the transfer portal, and the most obvious is the kid out of South Florida that they have spent all this time with, but we'll see. I think there'll be heavy competition for him, and what the unknown always is if you don't think that Deuce Knight is going to be your starter and you don't pay him a starter NIL package, who comes along and does, and who's willing to give him the money that maybe you're not, if he's not the guy that is your QB1, and that's what's going to happen at position groupings for every roster in college football. I mean, if you've got a kid that is not going to be somebody that you expect to lead your team, you're probably not going to pay him what you would pay somebody to lead your team, and there's probably somebody else out there that will. And so it'll just have to be, we'll have to see what happens. And so much of that is done off, with agents and behind the scenes that there's no way for any of us to have any accuracy of what that may look like.
Rob is a guy that's entrenched in that community. You play football there. You love Auburn. What should the expectation be? Because Hugh Freeze, and we know they were close. We've heard that plenty of times. But what should the expectation be for Alex Golish in year one?
Man, that's a difficult question, Landrum, because every school in America, I mean, you just see how many coaches were fired this year, and that the expectations are so high everywhere because there's just no patience for when you can go build your roster, and it's free agency all over the place every year. So fans expect coaches to identify weaknesses and deficiencies and fix them immediately. And I haven't looked at Auburn's schedule next year in depth. I just remember that it wasn't easy to look at, and that it's going to be a challenge. I kind of lean towards, if Auburn can get to a 10-win program, a 10-win team, that I don't think that's the expectation, but I think that should be the goal. If you win 10 games in this league, you're going to be a playoff team almost most of the time, unless you're Vanderbilt, which, man, I thought that they were a playoff-worthy team this year. But I think that the fact that Auburn hasn't had two 10-win teams in consecutive years since 1989 and 1990 that ought to be the goal. Consecutive 10-win seasons is what you got to look for before you can start building anything with long-standing success.
No doubt. Rob Pate, former Auburn defensive back. How are things going at Sweet Frog?
Things at Sweet Frog go the way of the student schedule, and right now they're in finals, and so they're coming over and getting some sugar before finals, and it's been busy, but it'll die off when they go home for Christmas. So we'll see what happens.
That's all right. And give the Pate family a little bit of a break, right?
It does. It does. It's been a blessing, man. We've enjoyed it.
I want to see you in a hairnet. That's all
I don't have any hair, so I don't need one.
This is true. Rob, we appreciate it, brother. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. War Eagle.
Rob Pate joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.